Cronos: The New Dawn. This is the latest game coming from Team Bloober, the same guys that did the Silent Hill 2 remake last year, which was lauded and praised all over the industry because it was really, really good. Pretty simple, makes sense. But this is an original IP from them, something that they have built from the ground up internally. It's not a remake or anything, and I've been playing it for the last day or so, and I wanted to share some of my spoiler-free thoughts to inform you better as to whether or not this could be a game for you, or if it's something maybe you just want to skip over or wait for a sale or something like that. Now, the first thing you'll want to understand is that this is a dark and gritty dystopian alternative universe set within Poland in the 1980s. And I won't go into like a lot of details as it pertains to like the world building and lore, because I think that type of thing is more interesting to discover yourself. But I do think it does a pretty good job of creating an interesting world that's worth exploring and that's creepy and gross. You know, just what every horror game wants to produce. I will say that at this point, having played around 5 hours of the game, I have not seen anything that I would consider to be particularly scary. Like, this is always super subjective, right? Like, something that's scary to me may not be scary to you, and so to a certain extent, this is all just subjective, you know? Like, there's some startling things, sure, there's some like upsetting imagery or stories, but there hasn't been anything where I'm like, you know, like hair on the back of my neck standing up, which is not something I can say for every horror game. Like, even that little bitty teaser we got of Resident Evil 9 Requiem, I saw that monster lady dude thing chasing the player character through the corridor, and I was freaking out. Like, that made me scared and unsettled. I did not like that. But in this game, I haven't really come across anything quite to that level. They do have some like gross and unsettling monster designs, like all the fingers around the belly and everything. Like, it's not something I would want to give a hug or anything, but it's also nothing I haven't seen before. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just describing myself and you guys are like, oh my God, he's a psychopath. I'm just being real with you. Like, I haven't found anything that's particularly scary, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Also, real quick while I have you, I'm doing a PlayStation 5 giveaway again this month. All you have to do is go to the link tree in the description or scan the QR code on screen. You click on that link, you go to this page and fill out your information, and you can enter the giveaway and get extra entries in the raffle by subscribing to my various channels and stuff. Free to enter, easy to win. All you have to do is be lucky. We just announced the winner of last month's giveaway on stream the other day, and so if you want a chance to win a PS5 Pro for free, it's just my little way of saying thank you for watching and making my dreams a reality. So check that out if you haven't already. Get entered and we'll draw it at the end of the month. Speaking of drawing though, let me show you a monster. I'm gonna pull this and show you kind of how the combat works in this game. At this point in the game, we have a few weapons. Everything is based around charges, whether you're talking about the pistol or the shotgun. And as you can see, they are punchy. Everything is, as you would expect in a lot of horror games, pretty limited in terms of ammunition. And already I've run out of ammunition for this weapon. I can swap to this weapon, which is my pistol, and I can use this to fight through crowds. The bottom left is my health indicator, which is based on like I think 3 or so tiers of health at the start of the game. And there's also a crafting menu based on crafting components that you gather. So you can see you have some chemicals and then like gears that you use to put things together, which can be used for torch fuel to burn bodies, shotgun shells, handgun ammo, shell patches, which are like healing items as well. And these can also be quick crafted while you're exploring the map. So for example, if I have my shotgun and I want to quickly craft ammo for this weapon, all I have to do is hold down right on the D-pad and she will quickly craft ammunition for that, and then I can reload. Bada bing, bada boom. So they also give you the ability to avoid like rummaging through your inventory for stuff, you know, in the heat of battle, which I appreciate. One thing I don't appreciate though is just how heavy this game is to run. I am running this on a 4090, okay? I have DLSS turned on to quality, and even still at 98% GPU utilization, I'm struggling to maintain like 75 frames. Sometimes it drops even lower, other times it's in the 80s, but it's a little all over the place. And being an Unreal Engine game, there are occasional stutters where it drops down into the like single digits for a quarter of a second, and then it's back up to normal. There's also some graphical artifacting that occasionally happens, like you can see in the top right. This is with fully updated drivers and everything. I don't know what this is. I don't know why it's doing it. I think it's a glitch within the ray tracing of the game, but I thought I'd point it out because it's distracting. And I don't think it looks very good. Oh, I stand corrected. That is with ray tracing turned off. If I turn on ray tracing, you're gonna see just how rough this performance can get. If I back out again, we are down just above 30 frames. And I'll let you be the judge of whether this is worth like the major drop in performance. Personally, I don't think so. I don't feel like it looks good enough to justify that, but I'll let you decide that for yourself, because that's what these videos are about. That being said, oh wait, no, there's a monster. Oh God. Here you can see the merging mechanic. So one of the big things in this game is that monsters can merge with deceased monsters if you don't destroy the body with, I thought I had a flame thing, I do not. You have to have torch fuel in order to burn the bodies, and I don't have enough crafting materials to craft it, so I can't destroy the bodies in that way. I can stomp on them, a la Dead Space, but they are able to merge together to basically upgrade to a higher tier of monster, which is genuinely pretty cool and is an interesting dynamic. I will say though, like, it's a little frustrating from the player's perspective, because this is a cool mechanic which makes you want to clear off the dead bodies you've already defeated, right? Like, oh, I just defeated this guy. I want to destroy the body so it can't merge if another monster comes. But if I don't have enough crafting materials to craft the torch fuel, or I haven't found torch fuel in the environment, I just can't do it. And even if I do have enough crafting materials, as you can see, it takes 3 of these like gear parts, the scrap parts, and that is something I could also use to craft shotgun shells, which actually kill monsters. So I often, even when I've had enough crafting materials, I will forego the torch fuel in favor of shotgun shells because it's more valuable to me in the moment. So I feel like the inventory balancing could use a little bit work. Maybe the torch fuel could be changed to work on like a cooldown instead of being a resource you have to collect. That way I can go back in the environment earlier to where I was previously and clear out the bodies with the torch, and I just have to wait for it to recharge. That way I don't have to use precious materials I'm using to craft like ammunition on those things that I'm going to spend through very, very quickly, like torch fuel. But that could also change later in the game. It's very, very possible. I'm not sure at this point. There you could see like a little stutter as you go down into a cinematic. Then it picks up. This type of thing is not like super disruptive to the gameplay experience, but again, it's just a stereotype at this point that Unreal Engine games have stuttery messes of optimization issues, and that's true here too. I mean, it's unfortunately very, very real. Another monster is about to punch through here because I died here previously. Let's see if he comes. Maybe, maybe not. I'm scared. I'm also going to take this opportunity to go back into the settings and turn off ray tracing, because again, like dropping into the 30s in 2025 is just painful. Like, it's just rough, man. I don't know why this is still a problem, but here we are. And even with a 4090, like a $1,500 graphics card, I still feel the need to drop DLSS quality to balance, drop the overall quality to high. And then once I accept the settings and I back out, I get much, much better frame rates and performance in general. And I feel like the difference in quality is not super egregious. I mean, there's still artifacting and weird stuff. I don't even know what this is. This weird, like, I don't know. Somebody smarter than me needs to explain what that is, because I don't know. Look in the comments. I'm sure somebody's figured it out by now, but it doesn't look good to me. Oh, this one's gonna wake up for sure. There's no way this one doesn't wake up, right? Yep, knew it. So you have to charge up your attacks, and then you can do like a little bit. Okay, there we go. Not my finest shot. The arm popped off. That's kind of cool. But most of the combat is based around these charged attacks. That's the goal. I will also mention, because I have like pretty strong aim assist turned on right now, because I was playing on my Steam Deck actually last night in bed, and it actually runs pretty well. You have to set it to like very low settings, turn on the like TSR upscaling and stuff. But once you do that, it actually runs pretty well. There will be, you know, stutters and drops occasionally, but honestly, I was pretty impressed with the performance on Steam Deck. Given that it can be so heavy to run on like a high-end PC, I was genuinely surprised to see that it ran pretty well on Steam Deck as well, which is just a good thing to see, you know? And I think that that's true of a lot of these Unreal Engine games, is that they're really heavy on the high end. So if you want to really push it, you can. I personally don't think it looks good enough to justify that bad a performance even still, but I will give them credit where it's due, because I do think it runs well on the low end. It just doesn't run very well on the high end, which is too bad. Dude, I'll be real. The strong aim assist definitely kind of nerfs the game. I didn't realize how much. I turned it on the Steam Deck because I have sausage fingers, and so it can be hard to get minute like analog input controls on little handheld devices for me normally, because my hands are so huge. But when you're playing on like a regular controller, I will say it's like, it's a little aggressive. That's the point, I guess. Like, what's the point of having strong aim assist if it doesn't actually do anything? But I would say this is like a little uber strong. Oh, get off it. Okay, leave me be. But this is basically what the game is so far as I've been able to tell. Like, it's going through tight corridors. It's healing occasionally when you have enough materials to do that. It's crafting when you have stuff to craft. And then it's occasionally seeing cutscenes that have some interesting narrative implications and stuff like that. But ultimately, like, it's a lot of this. So if this looks fun, you're probably going to really like Cronos: The New Dawn. But it doesn't do anything really novel or crazy as far as I've been able to tell so far. And again, I'm like 5 hours into it. I would think if there was something really, really interesting, I would have seen it by this point. Something really crazy and wild. And there are some cool like moments and some really artsy fartsy stuff that I do think is interesting. But I also have just been surprised that there's not as much like novelty as I would have thought. Like, it plays like a pretty standard third-person action game with some like suspense thriller mechanics. Oh my god. And in that capacity, you know, it does a good job, but it's like nothing special so far, which is a little bit of an adjustment given that, of course, Silent Hill 2 Remake was so good. But I think it just goes to show you how difficult it is to have a horror game that feels pretty novel and unique and interesting. It's just not that easy. I will also say that like the combat doesn't feel really like challenging enough to justify how often they sprinkle in enemies in the environment. Like, a lot of the time, if there's gonna be a lot of encounters, you gotta make sure the combat feels really, really tight and good, right? Like, for this game so far, at least, it feels good enough, but more than anything, it just feels very like tedious. It doesn't feel, oh my god, I'm dead. It doesn't necessarily feel like you died because in every instance you died because you screwed up. Often it just feels like, oh, there was an enemy hiding around that corner I didn't know about, and I didn't craft a healing item fast enough. Oh, bummer. So you go back through and now you know where that enemy is, so you've memorized it and you can like go in and win given that knowledge. What is this load spot? It started me like right there, really? Okay, that's a mean place to reload people, literally right next to a monster as it's eating you. But I will just say, like, I think maybe it improves as you get more weapons later in the game, but so far I've been surprised that there's not more like variety within the enemy encounters and stuff. It's all fairly straightforward, which isn't the end of the world, but it's a little frustrating because they sprinkle a lot of enemies in. I missed, dude. Embarrassing. Oh my god. Oh my god. There we go. But like, this is a good example. I just died walking around this corner a second ago, and so now I know that there's gonna be a guy on the wall trying to grab me, And so I can preemptively take him out when I might not have known that coming in this way because this column blocks it intentionally, right? And then there's another one up here that's gonna try to get me, and can't really get an angle on him just yet. There we go. Okay, and then you can continue to progress. But it's a very different approach to some horror games, which are trying to keep you alive so that it's more interesting. Oh, here they're merging. Oh God, I'm so dead. I'm so dead. No, no. Reposition, reposition. I only have 3 shots, dude. I'm so screwed. I have a little bit of torch fuel available I can craft, but I think it's too late because they're merging with them now, so they just upgraded to the higher tier of enemy. I'm so dead. I popped him, but it wasn't enough. Now in some other areas, there's more exteriors to explore. There's a lot of backtracking and going through, unlocking this door to get to the next door, to go back through this area and that area. And a lot of the environmental design is genuinely beautiful and visually interesting. In the opening hours, you're in this snowy, abandoned apartment block overrun with these monsters, trying to find a target for narrative reasons that I won't spoil. And it is interesting, and there are some interesting lore drops and notes and things to find. But again, like, there's just nothing in terms of gameplay that's particularly novel or interesting. It's all pretty much exactly what it appears to be. And maybe that's exactly what you're hoping to get out of Cronos The New Dawn, is exactly what you've seen in the trailers and what you've seen so far in this video. And in that case, you're going to have a good time with it. But as far as I've seen so far, there's not much else present. I do agree with what some have said about the game, which is that it's the best game that's original that Team Bloober has made. I do think that that's probably true. It's just a little jarring coming off of Silent Hill 2 remake and then coming into this, which feels markedly bland by comparison. I think it's also exacerbated by the fact that the protagonist stays in the helmet the entire time in the game. So even though there's supposedly some really emotional moments to be found within the story, there's not a lot of expression to be enjoyed to reflect that like emotional moment or that dialogue that maybe is meant to increase the stakes for the player, but it just doesn't land because you're staring at, you know, a gigantic, I guess, bowl on the protagonist's head. So it just prevents you from really getting immersed to that next level, you know? But overall, I'm having a good time with it. It's just exactly what it appears to be and not much more. And that's why it's been interesting to look at the reviews that just dropped within like an hour of me filming this video, actually. I was going to try to finish it in time for the embargo, but I just couldn't because I've been traveling. And ultimately, the reviews are pretty much exactly what I would have expected given what I've seen so far in the game. You know, it's sitting in that C+ range, like solid, but nothing spectacular or nothing that's gonna like win Game of the Year, but a pretty solid game, especially if you can get it for like a more budget-oriented price or a service like Game Pass or something like that. And overall, the reviews are pretty much in line. The PC reviews do mention some of these technical issues that I've mentioned so far in the video because there are occasional stutters and it's not super well optimized on the high end, which is still like a little frustrating, but it's par for the course nowadays with Unreal Engine games, I guess. But let me know if you're going to be trying out the game yourself down in the comment section below. And again, make sure to go to the link tree in the description and join the giveaway because it's free to enter. And you never know, you might win a free PlayStation 5 Pro because I love you guys. So get down there, join. Why not? With that being said, I'm going to call it there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making my dreams a reality every single day. Never, ever think I take it for granted. I truly don't. I owe it all to you guys, and I know that. Truly, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.